Welcome to Snetterton and a packed weekend of racing for the Radical SR1 Cup for the novices and near novices taking their first steps on the Radical Racing ladder. It's Mark Richards and Dave Morgan who look out the front row for race one. And away we go, a full field of cars sprinting away up the centre straight and on towards Riches for the first time of asking a clean start. And it is Dave Morgan who has taken that initial advantage, and Morgan trying to break away early on. He's got a little bit of pressure from behind. That's Peter Tyler up behind him. Tyler, who started well in both the races at Silverstone before spinning away his chances. There's Rob Ellis as well. That is the orange car, and Morgan under pressure. That's Mark Richards who's possibly behind him. We've got somebody running out wide a little bit as they head through Palmer and on towards Agostini. Sam Moores shuffled to the back of the field early on. The field picking their way out of Agostini on towards Hamilton. It's Rob Watkins who's tucked up just behind Morgan, so it's Mark Richards who's rather lost out in at least these initial exchanges. But what we saw in the opening event of the year at Silverstone was that the order was far from static as the race unfolded. There is car of Mark Richards. Then we've got this battle behind Lewis G just in pursuit of Peter Tyler as they fight over 4th and 5th place down the Bentley Straight on towards the braking zone at Brundle and Nelson for the first time, and Morgan looking to try and take out the race from the front. Then we've got plenty of battles behind us looking to try and squeeze through, force the move. That's the 7 car, the yellow machine of Kai Wheatley. He is just up behind the entry of Thomas, and then we have got Sean Maloney just in behind him as the field flash on towards Coram Curve. Front though, Morgan and Watkins potentially working in tandem to try and ease away. That's really what they're going to look to do if they possibly can. As the pair of them head over the crown in the road and continue on towards Riches. That leading trio just beginning to ease away, including Mark Richards in 3rd position. Then we've got the gap back to Peter Tyler and Lewis G. That's opened up to a couple of seconds as Richards, after that slightly shaky start to the race, now just getting his head down, running a little bit more consistently, getting into his rhythm and closing up on the leading duo. And we've got Lewis G ahead of Peter Tyler. The next group of cars headed by Kai Wheatley, and that really includes the bulk of the rest of the field. Richard Wilson, the number 5 car, part of that train, but the leading trio have now got the space to fight this between themselves as they head through Hamilton and in towards Oggies. But it's the exit from Oggies on towards Williams which is absolutely key, because that will then lead them down the Bentley Straight. That's the opportunity that they will get to really stretch their legs. There is the 22 car of Sean Maloney, only showing strongly in these early stages, and like so many drivers in this race, he is a novice, because the Radical SR1 Cup, to explain, is a whole package for these drivers. They get the car as well to keep at the end of the season, and it's predominantly geared towards drivers who want to start a career in motorsport. Everything's provided: the test days, the tuition, the car, the race suit. All they have to do is turn up and drive, but also really learn the racecraft. As now Mark Richards beginning to apply the pressure to Rob Watkins. Richards the predominantly white machine, Rob Watkins the slightly more multicoloured red and black nose cone. They're both in pursuit, however, of Dave Morgan. It's Morgan who leads along the centre straight once more. Although the Snetterton circuit is predominantly quite flat, there is that climb up the centre straight, then head out of Riches into heavy braking zone with Montreal hairpin. Already you can see that Richards is beginning to just try and search and probe ways to find an advantage over Rob Watkins. Watkins, though, sticking to the racing line, making it as difficult as possible for Richards. But as the pair of them battle, you can see it's already giving the advantage to Dave Morgan, allowing Morgan just to open up a little bit of space. As now the move is forced by Richards. He pushes Rob Watkins out wide of Agostini and up into second place then for Mark Richards. That move was a few moments in the making, but now it's been converted. What can Mark Richards do about chasing down Dave Morgan? Also, will Rob Watkins be able to stay with them? Still in the early stages of this one as we head down the Bentley Straight on towards Brundle and Nelson. The only two corners here at Snetterton unaltered by the redesign and reprofiling of the 2011 season. The same argument as well for the corner that follows, which is the bomb hole. And yeah, Rob Watkins in third, just beginning to slip back from Richards. Richards is head down, charging into Coram Curve in pursuit of race leader Dave Morgan. Rob Watkins doesn't need to concern himself with too much. It's the battle between Peter Tyler and Lewis G. Behind him is some way adrift. And that battle between Tyler and G as well is also for Fangio class honours, which is for the drivers who are in the second flush of youth as they decide to embark on a motorsport career in the Radical SR1 Cup. So plenty of tussles to be found throughout the pack. Now, what about this gap between first and second? It is coming down, and it is becoming a two-header as well, because Rob Watkins isn't really able to live at that pace. Next along is Peter Tyler. He's found a way then past Lewis G, and he's beginning to pull clear of G as well. Still plenty of fights to be found through the field. So there is Tyler. Then we have got Lewis G. It's Kai Wheatley just behind him. Wheatley, the yellow car, whereas Lewis G is the gold machine. Accelerate out of Agostini. Still towards the reach of the top 10. The pack still really quite closely matched, as after Tyler made that good start, then slipped behind Lewis G. Now Lewis struggling to come back towards Peter Tyler. At the same time, Kai Wheatley not quite able to stay with him, so the gap that was very close between the pair of them. The start lap has just opened up a little bit through this technical section, as turning into Brundle and Nelson, the race leaders. And Mark Richards definitely closing up onto Dave Morgan's tail. Rob Watkins a solid third, the same emphatically for Lewis G in fourth. We've got somebody who has gone off on the way out of Williams. You can see the clouds of dust in the background. Not sure who it is. The rest of the field continuing through the bomb hole on towards Coram Curve. Coram substantially tightened in 2011. It means that the second half of the corner is really all about setting yourself up for this little flick at Murray's, where the exit is all important, because that allows the drivers to carry the pace along the centre straight and through the conclusion of another lap. So the field hurtle onwards, the race still being led, as it has been throughout, by Dave Morgan. Although Mark Richards is trying to close up onto his tail. Here is Richard Wilson. And Wilson may possibly have been our miscreant. He has slipped a little bit towards the rear of the field. As there is the third place car, Rob Watkins. Watkins, who was staying with Dave Morgan so strongly early on, now just a couple of seconds adrift of that leading battle. You can really see how that's unfolding on the track. That shot through Agostini as Dave Morgan, not under particular pressure from Richards. Richards has closed up onto his tail. He's not yet poised to threaten as they head around Williams onto the Bentley Straight. Now, we had that car having a moment last time around. All seems clear. Oh, and a bit of a spin and a crunch. Oh dear, and that's a big hit. I think that's possibly Paul Pierce, who has gone into the Armco barrier just on the exit of Palmer. The car coming to a pretty abrupt halt opposite Tyrrell's Cafe, but I think more pertinently on the track. Now that might lead to a little bit of an interruption to proceedings here. And indeed there is, so the race is halted, and that's a great shame. But safety absolutely comes first. Now, they were on to lap 6 of the race at the time at which the red flag came out. So the grid for the restart will be taken by the finishing positions at the end of lap 5. So it's Morgan and Richards on the front row. Lights out, and for the second time around, away we go. Got one car left stranded on the grid. Couldn't quite catch who that was as the field accelerate their way into Riches once more. Don't forget, the classification for the race will be taken just from this restarted race. All that the preceding 5 laps have served to do is give us the grid for the restart, but it's Morgan who's got the advantage, as very, very sideways indeed for Mark Richards. So Dave Morgan leads. In second place it's Peter Tyler. Rob Watkins is third. Who else is in fourth? We've got somebody going a little bit slowly towards the rear of the pack. That's Sam Moores. He was just in behind Andy Chittenden. Oh, and more trouble behind, and a big spin for Rob Watkins. I just wonder who the other car involved in that may have been. It's possibly Mark Richards, but certainly Rob Watkins, a real problem for him, and that's a great shame after he was running so strongly early on. As a surging move from Kai Wheatley to the inside of Lewis G, and he makes that stick. And the driver's notes, these early stages which present the golden opportunity really to begin to make the best progress. So the field head down the Bentley Straight. Already you can get a sense of just what advantage has been opened up here by Dave Morgan. And then Peter Tyler just running a little bit wide in third place there. I don't think he quite got the braking zone for Brundle and Elses. We wanted another car in trouble. That's Kai Wheatley who goes round, and he got the braking zone for Brundle. Even more wayward. But that is what the Radical SR1 Cup is all about. These cars have got a good level of mechanical and aerodynamic grip, and therefore drivers have to be confident in pushing the limits. Up into second place has come Sean Maloney. So Maloney taking full advantage of the start of the restarted race to elevate his position in the field. And now the question is going to be the extent to which he can hold on. It's going to be a fairly brief restart as well, just 8 minutes they've got to sort themselves out. So by my maths, that's only going to give them the opportunity for 4 or 5 laps. So for Morgan, he knows he needs to convert the start. The same for Maloney, but Maloney runs a little bit wide through Montreal. Third place, it's Peter Tyler. In fourth, then is that Lewis G who's got to fourth? Indeed it is. So G up into fourth place, and it's Thomas in fifth. Sixth is Mark Tishaw, who was well outside the top 10 in the first half of proceedings. But for Dave Morgan, he is beginning to make this look very straightforward. His two main rivals, Mark Richards and Rob Watkins, delayed by that incident at Agostini, and it's allowing Morgan to build that gap and break away from the rest of the field. Meanwhile, the Fangio Winners battle and the fight for third between Peter Tyler and Lewis G negotiates Oggies, and then heading on through Williams onto the Bentley Straight. It's running out a little bit over the curbs there, Lewis G, and they've got to be careful with that. Track limits are vigorously enforced now. UK circuit. Sean Maloney, though, in second place, under no particular pressure from Peter Tyler. He will be pleased with the way that is coming together for him. As in fourth, Lewis G, likewise not able to particularly pressurise Tyler. Tyler just hoping that he can have a race without any drama here and notch up a trip to the podium. Then we've got Thomas and Tishaw next along. They've got Andy Chittenden, or no, it's Rob Ellis, isn't it, just behind them in the orange car. So Rob Ellis, another driver who has taken full advantage of the misfortune of others. And we're getting towards the closing stages of the race. We may well be into the last lap this time around. Fight for second to be resolved. The battle for the lead has never really happened once the race got back underway. But now Peter Tyler asking all the right questions of Sean Maloney, and in fact looking to line up the challenge as they head into Palmer. No way through though. And Lewis G can just sit and wait and watch to see if the others tangle themselves up. But Agostini's nearly quite close enough to challenge this time around. No, they're not, but again, the gap from second to third, and third to fourth, appreciably closer than it was last time around. Likewise, we have got Tishore closing on turns with each other as well. So Maloney doing exactly what he needs to do here. Just sticking to the racing line, making Peter Tyler do the hard work. And because to all intents and purposes these Radical SR1s are essentially identical, it really does mean that overtaking opportunities have to be hard fought and hard earned. Here is Kai Wheatley. He's up behind Richard Wilson by my reckoning as battle for second exits Nelson now. Just the bomb hole, Coram Curve and Murray's to go for Dave Morgan, though this has been an absolutely emphatic and imperious performance as he accelerates out of Murray's. The checkered flag is going to be ready and waiting, and it's victory in the first race of the weekend in the Radical SR1 Cup for Dave Morgan. He takes the win. Second place then it's going to be Sean Maloney, holds off Peter Tyler. What about this battle behind between Kai Wheatley and Richard Wilson? This is for 11th place, and Wilson has just got enough to keep Wheatley behind him, and then the recovering Mark Richards as the pack all run side by side to the flag. But it is Morgan who wins it from Maloney and Peter Tyler.
Peter, all smiles, that's your first podium.
It certainly is, yes, and it was a tough one, but you know, they're all the same. You get there by hard work, and we got there, so very pleased.
And it made it more difficult, I guess, with the race being in two parts for you.
Yeah, I thought, you know, first half I'd settled into a kind of comfortable fourth with Lewis behind me, but we had a little battle at the start. He got in front of me, and then I managed to get him back again, which was quite nice. And then the red flag, and you think, oh no, what's going to happen now? So yeah, it was good, but two lightning starts. You know, one thing that I can seem to do is hook it up at the start. So I think I came away behind the leader in both races in second. You know, quickly got overhauled a couple of times, but I was there.
Fantastic win. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, well, a good start. It's been a bit of a trademark for me this year, I think, getting good starts and generally picking off a few off the start line. So I was starting in second, so got into lead, pulled out a little bit of the lead, but Mark was hot my trail. Mark and Rob, in fact, were hot my trail. You could see them in the mirrors edging up, and I'd pull back and edge up. I built a little bit of a cushion, but again, Mark was coming at me hard at the just before the red flag came out. Flag came, I was panicking a little bit, thinking that's all the cushion gone, particularly with Rob not far behind. But again, did the same off the restart, and there's a bit of carnage I think behind by the look of things. I saw a few cars spinning off, and yeah, I'm relatively comfortable from the restart. I kept pushing. I had the back of mind, maybe a fastest lap for an extra point would be quite good. So I was still pushing, which I was in two minds, thinking this is a bit risky, but you know the points are points. But I don't think I quite got it. But yeah, very happy with the win. It was reasonably comfortable in the end, which is great.
Fantastic. And same again in the second race?
That's certainly the plan, yeah. I'm not sure where I'm starting the second race, but I'm hoping one or two. And yeah, hopefully a good start again, and I'll with any luck a bit more of a gap. I won't have to panic quite so much with my mirrors, but that's the plan, certainly, yeah.
Brilliant. Congratulations.